There we go. Perfect. So now you guys should be seeing me and Gravy. Got the Twitters up, and the chat is gone for me. But anyway, Gravy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So, kind of give us a little bit of an intro to like who are you? What region are you from? How long have you been playing this game? What's your tag? Well, obviously we know your
Yeah.
tag, but
All right. I originally started playing Smash as a casual brawl player, like really bad. I didn't go to any tournaments or anything. I mained like DK sometimes. It was not very good. So
Mhm.
I met Nitro and Jesse, who's Josiah Tag, and I started playing Melee. And this was in May of 2012.
Mhm.
So that's my start date, I guess. Started playing Melee. I just started training. I'd already chosen the tag Gravy from Brawl, and now I just stuck with Falcon from the start as the first character I chose, and now I'm just dedicated to him.
Okay, very cool. Now, so you started you said May 2012.
Yep.
So now that's only what? Almost 2 years. So you guys
Yeah.
are at 23
But,
months right now.
hmm
I mean, you just placed third at NSA 2. Is that and don't get me wrong, but I don't know about your placings up in upstate New York or anything. Was that like the furthest you've gone in a bracket of that caliber?
It's definitely the furthest I've gone in a bracket of that caliber. Up until recently, I was, like I guess I was close to being as good as I am now, but not consistent enough for it to show through. Very recently, I started taking top two at like locals and regionals near me. I went down to Nipple Spikes. I managed to take second place. I beat Nut, who's the Samus player from Long Island.
Right.
And before that, I also took maybe seventh place at I think it was called Y Town Throwdown.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm pretty sure I took
Is
seventh
that in
place at that.
Ohio?
But
Is that
this is
where?
my biggest placing at a bracket of this size for sure.
Okay. And White Town Throwdown, that was Ohio? Is that right?
Yeah.
Youngstown, Ohio.
hmm
Okay.
I lost to 4% there. Pretty close to that before, and that ended my run.
Okay. Now, when you're playing in tournaments up in upstate New York, is it usually Josiah Tag or I guess he goes by Flo Josiah? Is it usually him who takes it over you?
Yeah, Josiah has been the leader of our region for a very long time, and he's the person who helped me get better. So, um, like, he's kind of been just the king of our region for a long time. So as of now, he's still holding it out over me. He's got a Fox and a Marth that are both very challenging and difficult to beat for me. So it remains to be seen as to whether I'll beat him. He's planning on moving relatively soon, so
Okay.
whether or not I beat him soon remains to be seen. But as of now, he's still got it.
Now, you actually had outplaced him at NSA 2. Do you think that was just because of how the bracket went, or were you just playing, more on top of your game that day than he was? What do you think?
I think maybe it's a combination of factors. For the first thing is that I think I play a little bit better in tournament than he does. Even if he plays better than me in other situations or where he feels comfortable, I think I'm able to just remain comfortable in more stressful situations,
Okay.
which helps me play a little bit better than he is. And I also might be better at certain matchups than him. Like he definitely dominates the spacies much harder than I do. I struggle with the spacies, but against floaties and maybe Sheik, I think I might be a little bit better. So maybe it's just how our bracket ended up and. He could have beaten the moon and barely lost to him and kind of threw away his stock. So
Hmm.
who knows? Who knows how it could have gone?
If he had beaten the moon, he would have played against you. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows how that would have went? Really. At this point, it's kind of I don't know when I'm going to beat him.
All right. Now, I wanted to ask you, your set versus Gravy, you played him twice at NSA2. You played him in winners and losers. Well, what do you think? You lost the game in winners, but that was a close set, right?
Yeah. You said gravy, but I think you're talking about the moon.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. Yes, the moon, the moon.
Yeah, I played him in winners. I ran into him in third round of winners
Okay.
shortly. I can't remember who I'd beaten right before him, but I ran into him pretty quickly in brackets, and
Oh,
I
you
lost to him
beat
2-1. It was pretty
Hector
close.
Hertz
I
in
mean,
that
it
sort of
comes down to at that level. It just comes down to if he gets one, you know, good hit. We both got down to the final stock, and he just gets a good hit, gets a great combo and a good edge guard and closes it out. But I could have just gotten a grab and had me winning winners and winners. So I guess it just goes either way at the end.
So do you think that's what happened in losers? It was sort of the same set. It's just you got the grabs, you got the combo.
I mean, I think I started to play a lot better at the end of the day. I always play better in losers bracket for some reason, and I came up with a lot of ideas for how to beat him, and I tried to implement them in my game with him, and it seemed to work out pretty well for me. So maybe that's why, but who knows? Next time he might beat me. So
Okay. Now, I did a quick thing with you at NSA2 about right after your set with Korean DJ. And that was in the match where you had done a reverse four stock on him with about 250% at the end.
yeah.
No, you had told me at the time that you don't get nervous. You just focused. All right, well I just gotta all I have to do is hit him. I just gotta grab him and I can kill him. Was that sort of when you started out those 23 months ago in a competitive event? Was that how you were looking at things? Was that how you had already felt, or was that something you developed in the last couple, recently, I guess?
Well, for me, I've always been competitive. I've pretty much everything I've ever touched, I've played competitively. As far as the tournament nerves, Nitro told the chat earlier that I used to play poker. I mean, I still do, but it's been slowed down a lot because online poker was shut down by the government. But that's pretty much explains why my nerves are so good because I've played poker for so long and I've done a lot of just risky things. I'm kind of an idiot, so.
Okay.
But in terms of just deciding to play well, I mean, when I started this game, I had a point to prove. I had a certain drive, and I wanted to accomplish things. So I've always just tried my best and put all my effort into this. And I just want to show people how good I am. And I'm glad that this tournament finally gave me an opportunity to show that to people.
Right. Now, have you been to any tournaments since then? I mean, that was last weekend. So have you gone to any weeklies or anything like that?
No, right now my tournament schedule, I would be going to pretty much every tournament possible if I can afford it. But right now my tournament schedule usually relies on what I can afford. But since I have all these winnings from NSA, I can probably make a good tournament in the future. So I'm thinking about possibly going to a Long Island tournament next weekend. But I have to kind of make the decision because I do have a regional that day, and I'm not sure which one I want to choose yet. I plan on going to get on my level in Canada pretty shortly.
Is that the LG qualifier? Is that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of good players there. I'm the money match Kage. It's going to be fun.
You have to win that, please.
Yeah,
I have
I'll
a shirt
bet
I
you.
can lend you if you want one.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
I actually have it right here, just kind of sitting next to me on the couch.
That's amazing.
Now, so you said there's a regional that's in upstate New York. Now, I haven't heard anything about it. What can you tell me about this upcoming regional and the upstate New York scene in general that most people may not know?
So the upstate New York region is very interesting because before I came into the region, because at the time that I entered the region, like I said about 2 years ago, people were starting to kind of drift away. But before that, it was like a small group of ultra dedicated people,
Right.
with Josiah kind of leading the pack. And they just trained together and didn't have much exposure with out of state or anything like that. But they trained together and tried to improve themselves. Josiah was even dedicated enough to go all across the country at some point. I think he's had a thread called Path to Being the Best in the World or something. And he traveled to Cali and Arizona and all that stuff. So our region's always been very dedicated, but not necessarily having the largest amount of players. And we also have to travel a very long distance, even just to play each other. Josiah and this regional that I'm talking about are 2 hours away from me. I live in Ithaca, and just to get to my own regional, I have to drive 2 hours. So, if anything, our region is held back by the vastness of it, but I still think there's great players in it and the potential to become even better. And I mean, we've shown the ability to compete with New York City. We go down to Long Island, or Long Island comes to us, and we compete with them. So I think we're definitely slept on. We're definitely better than people think, but
Okay.
hopefully we can start representing ourselves soon.
Now, those who came down with you to NSA, it was you and Jesse, Josiah,
Hmm.
the Mana Lord, who I've actually known him since somewhere in 2003, playing some
Yeah.
online games. Then there was Beta,
Yep. Uh,
a
the
Nitro.
Manalord and the Manalord and Beta are best spacey players. They're the kind of two Fox and Falcos of the region. Yeah.
Yes, I played Beta and Mana Lord both in losers. I knocked Beta out, but I think it was the next round right after. The Mana Lord beat me in Falco Dinos and knocked me out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Now, those two players, I know the Mana Lord, he was telling me that he had sort of stopped playing for a while, but is starting to get back into it. Do you think is that just because of the general resurgence of Melee everywhere around and in the upstate scene as well?
Well, I think I think the Mandalore had things related to work that were kind of stopping him from playing Smash. From what I understand, like he mained Falcon before, and he left for a few years, and he came back, and he just said that he loves how much it's grown, and he still always loved the game. So
Right.
as far as I can tell, he's just playing for pretty much the love of the game. I mean, the kid doesn't even usually travel out of state at all, and he still plays the game in a dedicated fashion just to make it fun for people in the region and support our region. So
Okay.
props to him.
And who else from upstate should we be looking out for in the future?
Well, we've got a few up and comers. Unfortunately, we're so far away from each other that it's hard to tell how we interact with each other, except for these monthly tournaments.
Okay.
But I'm hoping the one I'm pulling for the most is a kid named Alex Jank, who is a Jigglypuff player from our region, and he's getting good pretty fast, even though people are even on our region are still sleeping on him. So I would definitely look out for him. Lots of people don't know how good Jesse is, Josiah Tag.
Right.
He's a force to be reckoned with at any point. Yeah, I believe in his ability to beat pretty much any player, but sometimes he struggles with the tournament nerves. But I would definitely look out for him. And our spacies are good, and we've got somebody named Pika Pika, who's an
Yep.
old school player who is very strong and smart. If you're an over technical player who doesn't think too much, he's going to expose you. So
Yeah.
I would watch out for him as well.
All right. Cool. Now back to you. What are your plans for this upcoming summer? You know, we have the big tournaments, CEO, MLG, Evo, and all the tournaments leading up to it within the northeastern region. What are your plans for this summer? You know, how do you think you're going to place, and what do you plan to do as it goes on?
Well, my plans for the summer are any tournament I can go to. Hopefully, I start placing better and making it easier on my wallet. But any tournament I can go to, I'm going to. I want to rep myself as hard as possible.
Hmm.
This summer is all about just getting better, making a name for myself, and showing that a placing like this is not a fluke, and that I'm going to replicate it consistently. I've also got some things that are probably going to hype you guys up that I'm working on kind of privately. Some new technology,
Okay.
stuff like that I'm hoping to bring out this summer. I've got a project that I've been working on related to Falcon, where I'm basically just collecting information and stuff like that.
Okay.
That hopefully will produce a lot of great results this summer. So I'm basically hoping to just hold it down and show people that Falcon's amazing.
Now, what do you think was the biggest driving force toward your improvement? I mean, placing that high at a tournament like NSA2 is definitely no easy feat. We had a lot of very solid players there. The cool thing was it was very up in the air, but we had a lot of very solid players. And, to go from playing for just under 2 years to getting third place in that sort of tournament, what's your sort of training regimen? How did you build yourself up to that?
I mean, it honestly just comes down to dedication and approaching it in an intelligent way. My training regimen is pretty intense. I practice daily, usually at least an hour, sometimes more.
Okay.
And even starting out this game, I tried to just come up with the fastest ways to improve. I'd already become very proficient and well known at a lot of other things. So I just kind of knew the groundwork for improving quickly, and I just implemented it to Smash, and I put in a lot of hard work and dedication. My training regimen is I try to come up with ideas that I think would be applicable to an actual match. For example, it used to be I just had to practice tech skills. So don't take this too far. If you're a lower level player or a lower level Falcon who's aspiring to be as quick as me, I definitely spent a lot of time just grinding out tech skill. I broke apart every single piece of tech skill I could into all its separate components, into the fast fall, the aerial, the L cancel, and everything like that. And I just grinded them over and over and over and over again, thousands of times, until I was able to just do them on a dot. But now I'm at the point where I'm so fast and I'm so technical that I don't need to work on that stuff as much. So what I do is I work on precision. I give myself challenges for ways that I can precisely move around or attack the stage. I'm usually practicing by myself, so I just try to implement this stuff when I play real people as quickly as possible. I'll take like pieces of marker or tape and put them on my screen and practice hitting them or moving to them from any kind of movement. Like I want to be as flexible and dynamic as possible. So I'm not just going to approach any point in the screen the same way. I'm going to try doing it different ways and still be precise and accurate at all times. I'm really focused on the precision.
So if you mess up something that you're aiming to be very precise at, do you just start it over, keep trying the exact same thing until you get it, and then move on to the next thing?
I mean, sometimes I get bored and I move on a little bit early, but yeah, usually I have a certain amount of times that I want to be able to do something perfectly in a row before I'm happy with it. And even if I move on temporarily, I'll always come back to that thing and do it until I've reached my goal that I wanted to get in the first place.
Now, you had tuned in a little bit before we started this interview. I was playing against a Marth on FD as Captain Falcon with just infinite time. What could I do that might help my Falcon improve?
I guess the number one thing you're gonna have to understand as Falcon is just what kind of situations you put people in every time you hit them or grab them. Basically, you can get to the point where you understand that there's only a few options that people have anytime you hit them or grab them. Against Marth, he gets into very dangerous territory at very low percents. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chat. But he gets in a very dangerous territory at very low percent. So understanding exactly what you're supposed to do at up throws and up airs is going to be probably the most beneficial to helping, and not just against Marth, but against any character. So I guess just understanding your combo game and maybe having a good grasp on your movement game. I saw that you're on the ledge and not too. I mean, it's not like you're bad or anything, but you can tell that you're not a Falcon main just by how you move around on the ledge. So maybe working on that would help.
Okay. Now, actually, there's something that may be able to benefit you is, do you know the player Irish Mafia?
I do, yeah.
He had told me one day that he broke down, he mainly plays Peach now, but at the time he was playing Peach Falcon dual main. And he told me that he had broken down the better or best options for Falcon between, say, 0 to 40, 40 to 80, and then 80 up, 80 and onward.
Yeah.
As sort of like the best options. If you knock him on the ground after, or if you like down throw after 40 or something, then that can lead into X, and then that leads into X, and so on and so forth. So that actually may be something that if you don't already have something compiled like that, it may be useful for you to look into. If you contact him, he might be able to help you with that.
Actually, I put a lot of time into this, into basically what we're talking about, and I think it's actually fair to say that I probably have the most complete, compendium or information or knowledge collected on one character ever. Like, I think, people are going to bring up Mewtwo King and stuff like that, but
Right, that's just what I was thinking.
Just the vast amount of knowledge that I have that's dedicated to only one character, I think even Mewtwo King can't compete with. And I know percents for every matchup that's relevant, and I pretty much. You might ask, like, why am I not a perfect Falcon player already if I have all this information? But it really comes down to just I have to implement it one step at a time, or else it's just too overwhelming, and there's just too much of it. But I work on this a lot, and I actually have, I just know so much about Falcon at this point that it's crazy. I have notes on my phone that take up pages and pages and pages.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is one thing you find particularly reliable that you've noted down that you've applied to your game? What's something that you find very reliable?
I guess let me think about this. Well, the most reliable things is just knowing my grab combos because they're always set, so I know exactly when I can start up throw, up air, or anything like that, and they pretty much never change based on any player. So I found that to be the most reliable because it's always a set thing like that. But I guess. Other than that, I've just found certain like unique percents that work really well for me. Like I found out when I can like up throw forward smash the spaces and stuff like that. And those, it's really reliable to have those to get an earlier kill sometimes when I wouldn't have been able to get it before. So that stuff really pulls through for me pretty often.
Now, as you're compiling this data, how does factoring in DI play into things?
Well, I basically just control both characters, and I try every kind of relevant DI that I would be able to come up with. For up throw, I usually I do away DI, I do down and away, and I do neutral, and I do behind me. So that's pretty much. I'm not going to think of any other DI that people actually do. So I just do those, and I control them both, and I just test them and figure it out. Some moves have lots of different ways you can DI them, but I'm always going to try to figure them both out. As far as SDI,
Hmm.
I just accept that people are going to be able to get out of my combos a little bit better if they're good at SDI, and
Right.
there's nothing I can do about that.
So by controlling them both yourself, like quite literally having two controllers, and
Yeah, yeah,
just having like say this one were grabbing, you'd have the other one already get ready with a away DI, and then you
yeah,
punish the, and
yeah,
then you try to follow up on whatever that would be.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. That's pretty cool.
I feel like you need
I
to
can
drop the
also,
controller quickly. You're just like, all right, I got the direction. I'm just gonna get out of here.
yeah, yeah. I also, I used to have, like, I used to play with Infinite Shield on a lot. I see this 20xx hack coming out where people use it to practice, and I pretty much already had that set up the whole time I've been training. But I used to like just like wrap a cord around my shield button and stuff, and have it get held down that way. So I didn't get this fancy new school. It automatically being held down for you and stuff.
Right. And that's pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to that pretty heavily for when you can actually do that on like a Wii or something like that. Use a Melee ISO and put an SD card in and make that work on a Wii. I'm really looking forward to that because I don't have Dolphin, unfortunately. So.
Well, actually, you can already do that. That's how my Wii is set up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, you gotta share that with me afterward. I
All right, all
absolutely
right.
need that. I very much want that. Especially as a Falco.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I have about 6 tabs up right now of people who've kind of posited some questions for
Okay.
you. Let me start with the thread on r Smash Bros because there's literally only one response, and
It's
it's
like,
somebody asking if you would autograph his knee.
if I would autograph his knee.
His knee, yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean,
like the
yeah,
physical
I'll
thing.
autograph his knee if he finds me at a national.
Oh, I hope that guy hears this because I would love to see that final
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, that would be hilarious.
Um, let's see what else we got. So I got the Melee social thread up that you had opened. Then
Yeah, yeah.
let's see. The first question we got here is, what is your way of doing the quickest short hop up airs? And that actually reminds me of another question I had for you. So after you're done with that, I got one more for you from me.
Well, I think I might be able to cover both questions. I think I guess at what your question is. Basically, before I was talking about wanting to be able to improve at this game the fastest and having that be my focus when I started out. So before I even started playing at all, I came up with a way to hold my controller, and I made sure that whenever practicing tech skill or anything like that, I was strict about holding my controller exactly how I wanted to, like to the point that even my forearms are supposed to be in the right position and everything. So basically, I claw my controller so that I can touch all the buttons at once without ever having to move my thumbs or having to move anything.
Is this the way you're doing it?
What'd you say?
Is this it?
I don't think my video is caught up to real time, so I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure. I can't see.
All right.
Basically, the idea behind it is that my pointer finger is on Y. Oh, actually, I can see you up now. See, it's really the thumb that's the like intricate part of it. My thumb actually drapes over the C stick and touches Y, or it touches B and A at the same time. So I can use the C stick with like the lowest index of my thumb, and still manage to press A and B with the like tips of my thumb. So that controls all three of those by itself, which is the like key of the thing. So when I do those up airs, I just use Y for my jump, and then I can instantly just like nudge my thumb up a little bit and C stick up, and basically it's just timing now instead of having to move my fingers. It makes it much easier.
All right, I'm trying that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. So yes,
Yeah.
that actually was going to be my question: is how you came to the method. I was watching while you were playing against Korean DJ how you held the controller, and I was very curious about how you wound up doing that. So
Yeah, I mean, I just developed it myself because I tried to think of ways that I could just be the most efficient. Another thing about when I started playing this game, I was watching Armada at the time, and I was very focused on being efficient and consistent.
hmm
So yeah, I figured in order to do this, I don't want to have to move my thumbs around like everybody else does. So I just tried to come up with a way that I could comfortably just touch every button and basically have only like small finger twitches
hmm
be the way that I move my character. I actually made it. I even practiced using like the lightest inputs as possible. Like I press the jump button as lightly as possible, a C stick as lightly as possible. Every time I press a button, I try to release as quickly as possible and be as gentle as I can.
Interesting. So that was just a lot of quite literally just kind of just tapping the button just over and
Yeah,
over as
yeah,
lightly as you can, and just doing it like for what hours on end until you had it down pat, kind of thing.
yeah, pretty much.
Wow. See, a lot goes into this stuff, guys.
Yeah, that's definitely not easy.
Yeah. So now we have somebody asking why the tag Gravy, and you said you had that before you entered Smash. So how did that come about?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was a casual brawl player before then, and as you know, the brawl tag has five letters in it. So just one day, I was sitting there with my friends, and I was like, "What's my favorite thing that's five letters?" And gravy just popped in mind, and seemed fitting. So I just went with it instantly, and it's just stuck since then. And then went to the apartment and started training in Melee, they started calling me Gravy instead of my real name. So I
Hmm.
just got, it just stuck.
All right, and we kind of already went over this next one here, but I would like to ask it one more time, and that is, what were some of the things you've done that have been the most useful for improving at the game?
um, So I, I mean, first and foremost, it's just dedication. It's just I picked something I wanted to do. I set a goal, and I strive to accomplish it. I see a lot of players who struggle a lot with these like turmoils. They don't know which character they should use. They don't know like exactly which kind of style they want to adapt or anything like that. So they're switching around a lot. Whereas for me, I was set on my character. I'm never switching. I knew what style I wanted, and I just went with it and tried to improve it all the time. So I was able to dedicate all my time to improving one thing instead of having to focus between all these different things. Another thing is that I literally never play any character other than Falcon. I have like the worst cast you've ever seen in your life. So just dedicating myself to one character probably helped a lot.
Hmm.
And I guess other than that, it's just it was just drive and just work. I just put in a lot of work and many hours into improving, and it helped.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I gotta tell you, my compared to my Falco, the rest of my characters, awful.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely awful. Let's see. Just trying to get to another one here now. Just bear with me. We already went over the claw thing. That was a very popular thing that people were wondering, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I know everybody's like crazy about that.
All right, here's one. We'll get this one out of the way, actually. How amazing is Pyro's Roy?
Pyro's Roy is so slept on. It's ridiculous. He's like a local player from our region, and he only mains Roy, and he sticks with his guns, and he just does really well with them. We had a crew battle with Long Island, and even though it was their like worst players, it's not any of their best players or anything. We sent Pyro out first, and they sent a Marth player out, and he like four stocked the Marth like quickly, and he ended up taking seven stocks. The last time I played him in friendlies, I sat down and he just destroyed me two games in a row, and I had to run it back for a salty, best of five. I did manage to win, but it's still the kids, using Roy, so he's definitely amazing.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm just fiddling with the volumes here. People tell me the mic volumes are a little off compared between the two of us. So hopefully, I just made a little change, so hopefully that corrects it.
Okay.
Um, this one's back to the upstate Smash scene.
Okay.
Somebody's asking, how do you feel the upstate Smash scene is doing in comparison to other scenes? Do you feel like do you feel like your constant trash talk on Facebook needs to simmer down, or is it just part of your charm? And there's another part to that, but we'll get to it afterward.
Well, okay, so It's undoubtable that our region has not produced as many results as other regions, and we just don't have, the data to claim being better than other regions. But the fact is we have a hard time with having to travel so far. We're very isolated, and we only have a small pocket of great players. So just the heart and the amount of work we put in is ridiculous. And as such, I just believe in our region's ability to do anything because we train so hard. We're like the 300 region. It's ridiculous. We're outnumbered and sometimes outclassed, and we still make it to everything we can and try our hardest. And sometimes we manage to pull out four-star comebacks.
Yeah,
um,
I gotta say that was impressive.
yeah. As far as the trash talk, I was thinking about it after NSA, and I mean, some people were telling me to stop trash talking because I know I trash talk on Facebook a lot, but I haven't decided yet. Like,
Like, I don't know, maybe.
yeah, back in my older days when I was playing other things competitively, I was like a heavy trash talker. In poker, especially, I really get in on people. So it's kind of been like just a thing for me. So I'm not sure. I guess I'm gonna try to simmer it down, but I'm not sure how well that's gonna go. Yeah, and it's not like I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just sometimes I love to trash talk people, and I have a fun time with it. Some people respond with it well, and so I don't know, but I don't want to hurt people's feelings or anything like that. So maybe I'll calm down.
Well, I think one thing to remember is that it's all very sort of friendly, but it's
Yeah,
trash
yeah,
talk, but it's all friendly. I
yeah.
mean, we're a competitive community. You're definitely gonna get some trash talk, but
I mean, if people would just accept that I'm better than them, I would just stop trash talking probably. But
true. Then you're just like, oh, that's just boring now. Like, dude, you
yeah.
suck. You're like, yeah, thanks, buddy. And that's how New England got to where it's at.
Yeah.
Um, Trust me, everybody is absolutely ass, and they love it. So there's another. I'm gonna actually hold off the last part to that one because it's totally unrelated to Smash entirely. But I'm gonna close it with that because I think it's just a fun question. Um, Somebody's asking if you have any advice to up and coming Falcon players. What do they need to focus? Oh wow, they typed out need like the need.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
I saw that.
Yeah, just all right. Anyway, what do they need to focus on most to improve? And what do you think when you're approaching a difficult match? What's going through your head as you're sitting down and seeing, oh man, okay, I got to play the Moon, I got to play Korean DJ. What's going through your mind?
Um, okay, so as far as an upcoming Falcon player, like you have to understand that this character needs dedication.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think you can play. I don't think you can play Falcon and other characters and still do well with Falcon. I'll put that out there. But the talk that goes around Falcon is just totally ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like I, for one, do not believe he's a bad character. I don't believe that he has impossible matchups, and I just don't believe that you. I believe that you can win with him, and I believe that people are going to win with him. So I'd say the number one thing as an aspiring Falcon main is just don't listen to people who are naysayers. Don't listen to people who are going to tell you that you can't do something because that's never going to be the case in your life or in melee. Um, so I guess I would say that. And as far as difficult matches, for specific matchups, I'm starting to not believe that Falcon really struggles with any matchups except maybe like Falco. But so I wouldn't like. I don't think people should focus so much on matchups because once you get to the point where you can outplay a player, it doesn't matter like what the matchup is. Not to call anybody out or anything, but it's like. I ended my set with a Moon, or I ended game two with a Moon by forward smashing him as he wave dash out a shield, and that's not something you would ever see in any kind of matchup chart. But it works because I'm playing against the player instead of the character, and I think people should focus on that a little bit more than they do. As far as coming up on specific matches, like in tournament or anything like that, just don't let the pressure get to you. You're trying to compete, you're trying to show people how good you are, and this is your only chance to do it. So just go out there and get done what has to be done.
All right, those are good. That's good. I like that last part. That's great. That's great. Just get done what has to get done. That's good.
Yeah.
I hope people really think about that. Somebody was asking that they've heard you practice hack stashing, or for those who don't know what that is, um, jumping from the ledge and then wave landing back onto the ledge
Yeah.
with a metronome. Is that true?
Yes. Well, Yeah, okay. So the hack stashing thing, I haven't brought out in tournament yet because I usually tend not to bring out things in tournament until I'm like perfect at them.
Hmm.
But I actually am ridiculously good at hack stashing. And I just practice it using a metronome, like I said, because basically the frames of hack stashing break down to you have like 8 frames of leniency in terms of when you jump and when you wave dash and when you fast fall to the ledge. But letting go of the ledge itself has to be frame perfect. And if you want to wave land onto the ledge, that also has to be frame perfect. So
Hmm.
those two things are really hard. But I know that I have to let go of the ledge every 37.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if I lost you, but I'm definitely lagging.
So that's the magic number. So I just went and got a metronome that works for that number,
Hmm.
and I just use it. Yeah, I mean, my video's lagging, but that's it.
Okay. Yeah, now my video is
Are we good
lagging,
now?
but my video for you is lagging, but my audio is up to date. So hey, good enough then. So you got a
Okay,
metronome
okay.
that you have it tracking every 37 frames, every 37
Yes.
frames. And
Yeah.
was that something you calibrated yourself, or do you actually have to go out and like I don't know anything about metronomes except for that they go like this.
Well, I just went to Audacity, and well, the problem is that 37 frames is not it's not an integer in terms of beats per minute. It's
Hmm.
like 97.297 beats per minute, and
Okay.
you can't just go online and find a metronome that's accurate. So I went to Audacity and was able to put in this decimal for the amount of beats per minute I want, and I got that to work for me. So that's what I recommend for people. It's really simple, really easy.
So you use the software Audacity to do that?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And so it's just every time it goes across the line, is that just like the start of another one, like another hack
Uh,
stash?
it it just plays a beat out for you. So it's like it just plays in your ear. It'll be really easy to explain once you try to do it.
Okay.
You'll know what I'm talking about.
All right. Very cool. Um, there's a pretty mediocre Falco player from the Midwest. I think he goes to Purdue. Might be from California. That wants me to give you a specific quote here. And that quote is, "Nigga, you won. Crew battle versus Indiana. Seat kit, trail, tank, myself, and Lance in the past will fuck you up." Oh, I didn't even realize. I didn't want to say that. Thanks, Jason. Trying not to
Listen,
swear.
dude,
He caught me off guard.
I'm down for any money matches, any crew battles anybody wants. I mean, just bring it. I'm gonna try to slow down my trash talking, but if you want to step up to me, definitely do
All right.
it.
Oh, here's a very pointed question for you. Mashed or baked potatoes?
Mashed potatoes are actually my favorite
Good
food.
shit. You gotta load those with butter. Somebody's asking if you lost 3 stocks against Korean DJ on purpose and then try a la the documentary.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I was definitely trying the whole time. But I just, if you go back and you watch the video, every time I die, I like close my eyes and look down, and I just think about what I did wrong and what I need to do in this new stock, and I just tried, and I managed to pull it out.
Here's one for NSA2, which is, did you go into the tournament thinking you would make top 3, and how prepared were you?
I was figuring I was gonna make top 8 at least, so I was pretty well prepared for that. But I mean, yeah, I felt prepared. I practiced a lot. I practice every day, like I said, so I never feel like I'm unprepared for anything when it comes to Smash.
Okay. And here's a question that I have for you, and that's after you have a big win, or a very solid tournament placing where you're like, oh man, I got third. Are you now thinking like, all right, now I have to do better? Or are you thinking, all right, that was good. Now back to what I was doing in terms of grinding skill and improving, and while you're not at the tournament, or are you now just so elated that you give yourself a break? How does that go? Like, how does that work through your mind?
I mean, I'm pretty much never going to take a break until I'm the best. So basically, I'm just doing the same things that I was doing before,
Hmm.
and they're far from finished. So hopefully, I can. I'm thinking about a year out from now, I'll probably be done with all my tech skill and project stuff that I'm working on, and then that might be my final form of my Falcon, but even then, I can still improve on what I'm doing mentally and stuff like that. So
Right.
definitely still the same plan goes, and I'm still going to keep working on the same stuff.
Okay, very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing it now. But I do have to ask, when you got like what did getting third place at NSA like? What did that say to you? Like what were you thinking after you hit that? Were you just like, all right, good stuff, Gravy, good job, or like what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, it kind of sucks that I didn't win losers finals, so there's that. But I guess I was just thinking that finally people are going to understand that I'm better than they think I am. Like prior to that tournament, people were still referencing me losing to Mofo's Nest, but that was like 8 months ago. I mean, I'm not one to John at all, but that was a long time ago, and that's a significant portion of my career, and people were still focused on that. So I'm glad I gave them something new to focus on.
All right. Well, I really hope to see you do a lot better. Well, I mean, top three is really great, obviously, but I mean, I want to see you do really, really well in tournaments. Like, I got to see more of that Falcon, man. Your combos are so good. As soon as you get one hit, it's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
he's dead. Okay. Like when you got, like, I keep going back to the KDJ match, but when you got that last grab, on him in game two, that led into the kill. Like you just, what was it? Grab, up throw, up air, and he like DI'd in, and then you could grab again or something like that. But as soon as you
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
first grab, I was like, that's it. He won. As soon as you
Well,
got it.
I'm gonna let you in on two secrets. The first one is that he DI'd badly and allowed me to regrab, but if he had DI'd better, I would have full hopped the up air and that would have comboed into either another up air or knee. So he was pretty much screwed either way. Um,
Out of a grab at
but
0% on Marth.
no, 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 not at 0%. By the time, because I hit him with ledge hop up air and combo that into up air, and then I
Okay.
was able to up throw up air him again. So by the time he was up at that percentage, he was
Mm.
he was pretty much going to die. But I was also praying that well, this is something I pretty much haven't told anybody except for the people at the apartment. But my controller had started breaking like a couple days before that. So the whole tournament at NSA. My aerials, my like up air especially, and my like up throws because I throw with my C stick,
Hmm.
they were turning into throws and aerials to the right. So if you actually go back and watch my first stock versus KDJ, I ended the stock and I would have comboed it, but you see me go for a knee. That was definitely supposed to be an up air, which would have just got me the first stock anyways. And you see it again in my final combo. I go to up air him and it would have killed him again, but I back aired. So I was kind of just praying that my controller would like just do this one combo for me. I was like really worried about doing a back air or something like that. So that's pretty much actually what I was focused on. I was trying to think of how I was gonna pick the combo back up if I back aired, which you actually see that I did back air, and then I like quickly thought of what I had to do and tried to bring it back.
Nice. And that's just through all your knowledge and practice that you were able to just sort of in a split second figure out, okay, now, yeah, I made a mistake, or the controller made a mistake, but here's what I got to do next.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I did another. I got on the platform and I shielded, and he reacted slowly, so I used my shield drop
Hmm.
and got out of there, and then I comboed that up air into another up air, and then it was pretty much game over.
Yeah. All right. Swift Base, or as he goes by now, Phantom Renegade, has a question for you, and he said that you referred to yourself in the NSA2 interview as never getting nervous in tournament, never getting shaken in tournament. He said a great deal of us still get those jitters every once in a while. Do you go through any rituals or have any particular general mindset that allows for you not to be nervous? Like,
Um, See, I wish I could help people better with this, but I don't think I can. I think this is kind of a natural thing to me.
hmm.
My whole life, I've been kind of a like daredevil. I've always done kind of risky and dumb things, and I've just been able to like just not be nervous through peer. Like I keep risking my life, so I can't be that, that nervous about anything. And I played poker, so I have a lot of background with like doing things that are like dangerous. I mean, poker's not dangerous, but
Hmm.
throwing away a lot of money is definitely not a comfortable feeling. So
Right.
I think it's just because of that. I think I'm naturally just not going to be nervous. So that also makes me a better player in losers bracket than other people. I think just because it doesn't affect me or make me play any worse at like pretty much ever.
Okay. Now, I have to ask, you have mentioned a few times now that you have done dangerous or, life-threatening, I guess, things before Smash. Can you elaborate on that, or are we keeping that under the covers?
No, it's not too bad. I just like I I used to drive way too fast. I kind of stopped doing that because it's dangerous for other people.
Yes.
I used to be like obsessed with climbing, so I would get myself in these weird situations where I'm like really high up on something like a waterfall or a tree, and not necessarily having a good way to get back down. I almost got into a climbing accident with a friend of mine and had to like stop us from falling off a cliff and stuff like that. So there's just been a ton of times where I've just been. And I also bike really dangerously. I'm really good at riding a bicycle, but I do it really stupidly. So
Like you don't wear a
like
helmet, right?
no. I should be, but it is what it is. So
Right.
I've been really close to getting hurt really badly a lot of times, and it just doesn't get me nervous anymore.
So it's just the adrenaline rush that kind of keeps you doing that sort of thing, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be the adrenaline rush. It could just be me being stupid and thinking I'm invincible. Who knows? I don't
okay.
know. Oh yeah, Nitro wants me to tell you guys about the time I did actually. This is the only time I really ever hurt myself, funnily enough. But I fell off my bike because I was trying to ride it backwards, and I broke a bone in my wrist called my scaphoid. And yeah, for like about a month after that, I actually learned to play Smash with my pointer finger because I couldn't use my thumb anymore. So I stayed dedicated even through my broken wrist, and managed to learn how to dash dance and fast fall pretty well.
Now, on your left hand, so what were you using your index finger?
Yeah, I was using my index finger.
Okay, very interesting.
I,
I
I,
have seen
I
somebody
actually,
play that way recently. Actually, he was in the same a similar situation. I don't know how he got the injury. I don't remember, but he was playing. What was he using to play? He was using like, yeah, I think he was using his index finger to play. Like,
yeah,
it's very interesting to
it,
see.
it's funny because of my combination of using my index finger and like my claw.
Hmm.
I think that I'm literally the best player in the world at using. If you had to play me with only your pointer finger, like instead of your thumb, or play me with cold hands, I
Hmm.
will beat anybody. I don't care. Like
Is that
I'm so
you
good at
say?
playing with cold hands. I'm so good at playing with my pointer finger.
Is that just because you can just jump right into it from all the practice you've had that it doesn't really matter if you're cold or hot, you can just kind of do it?
Yeah, and I don't have to move my fingers, so having cold fingers doesn't really bother me.
True. Yeah, you just got like your whole freaking hand going. It's like, Kid Goggles mentioned, do you have anyone on your hit list?
Yes, I've I have lots of players on my hit list, but yeah, like some players I have on my hit list because they've like trash talked me before. I had some beef on Facebook with Kage, and I'd like to like rescind that beef a little bit. Kage is a really cool person in real life, and he's a real nice guy. But he did before anybody knew me. He just trash talked, saying I didn't have the drive to improve. So I trash talked him back because that's how I am. So I do plan on taking Kage down. I'm definitely gonna money match him and get on my level because I'm housing with him.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see how that turns
That's
out.
really great, actually. You
Yeah,
gotta say hi to him for me.
yeah. And also on the hit list, I just want to take out people who like who people like think would stop Falcon as a character. You know what I mean? Like just players who people don't think can be beaten by Falcon. Like Hungry Box, for example. Nothing against the guy, but people just don't think anybody's ever going to beat him with Falcon. So I got to do it. And Westball is another example. He's taken down Falcons a lot now, and so I got to just take him down. And I'm kind of against the space animal. So any really over technical, flashy space animal player, I'm gonna try to destroy them.
Okay. So what would be your game plan going up against Hungry Bucks?
Well, I played against him at Shuffle, and it's just normally I'm really good at the buff matchup
Hmm.
because basically I can use my instant up airs to like wall her out, and I don't have to like get caught by her stupid gimmicks like her crouching and stuff like that. I can just opt to not try to grab that or anything like that. Um, but when I played against Hungerbox, it's just he's not doing basic things that I can just destroy, like trying to wall me with back airs or anything like that. Every single one of his aerials and all of his movement has like a defined purpose. So if I'm not trying to counter that purpose specifically, he just does it destroying me. But it all comes down to he's just a better player than me. I don't think it has anything to do with the character he chose. And I think that when I become as good as him, I'll be able to win or do as well as I should based on my skill level.
Okay. I like how you said that when I become as good as him.
I mean,
This
he's
guy.
got to stop playing eventually,
Yeah, no, you're right, exactly.
right?
One day or another, he'll start rusting up. All right, so we have been going for just about an hour now, so I want to kind of wrap it up here. If anybody in the chat has any more questions that I can ask Gravy, please, anything, just ask away. Um, there was one other question that I hadn't asked you yet, and that is, what is your favorite holiday, and why is Thanksgiving such a cliche answer?
Well, everybody knows like my Thanksgiving's a cliche answer, but I guess my favorite holiday is probably. Uh, Man, I mean, I wish I could just say Halloween because it used to be so fun to dress up, but now we're too old and everybody looks at us weird. So I'm not sure how that goes, but I guess I guess I'll just go with Christmas because it's so nice to be around all these happy people and stuff like that. So I guess I'm just going with that.
Okay, that's a good one. You like presents. Do you like F-Zero?
I'm actually kind of a fraud. I've never played F-Zero.
That's
I've
fine. I've
actually
never
I haven't
played
played
Star
a
Fox
lot.
either, so you know what? It's okay. I understand.
Yeah, yeah. There's a ton of guys. There's a ton of games I've never played that people would be like mind blown. I've never played any Zelda game. I've never played Mega Man. I've never played so many different things. So it's kind of rough.
Now, you had told me, at least I hope I'm not imagining this, but I was quite tired of NSA, so I could very well be. But you had told me that you don't play many other games aside from Melee, is that right?
Yeah, I mean at this point I'm pretty much just going to be dedicated to melee. I feel like I have a point to prove, and I want to stick with it and try to see my end goal. Hopefully, so yeah, I'm definitely sticking with melee right now.
All right, man. Well, I am gonna wrap it up here. So thank you for coming on. I'll try to get this out onto YouTube hopefully shortly. It's been locally recorded on my laptop, so I definitely have it here. Um,
Okay,
all right. Well, I will see you later, Gravy. Good luck in all your future events.
okay. I'll talk in the chat and hype people up a little bit.
Okay, man. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. See you later.
Bye. Okay, guys. So that was pretty cool. We had an hour with Gravy, and that was what an hour that was. We're definitely gonna have a little bit. Well, I'll put that up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MattDotZeb or user MattDotZeb, whatever it is. Definitely follow him at IRGravy on Twitter. I'm sure he's going to be having a lot of informative things to share as he was telling us. I'm just going to kind of be doing some random practice at this point, so you guys can feel free to stay tuned or get out. I don't, whatever. Uh, no, please follow me here on Twitch. That would be really great. I'm going to try to be making it more of a point to stream going forward and hopefully try to get some more interviews with players. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I want my stream to keep improving. So please, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Matt.Zeb, everything Matt.Zeb. AIM, you'll never find me on that anymore though. And then, of course, if you are a member of the New England Smash community, if you play Melee, Brawl, PM, 64, Smash 4, Super Smash Flash 1 or 2, Air Dash Online, just kidding, or any other Smash game out there, you can please feel free to join us at facebook.com/groups/New England Melee. We'd love to have you there. We're growing pretty darn quick. I think right now we have about 940 some members, and we are coming up fast on 1K.